Planning a destination wedding, starting to talk to resorts to check on things? Do you know the questions to ask the resort? Here are 10 things I think you want to ask a resort wedding planner when you talk to them. Okay, you've taken the step. You want to have a destination wedding. You're checking out resorts on your own. Not that I suggest it. As you know, I always suggest you talk to a travel professional. Let them do the work for you. That's our job. But maybe you want to get started on your own. So in this video, I want to talk about 10 things that you want to ask the destination wedding planner, the wedding planner at the resort if you're taking that route and talking to resorts directly. The first thing you want to ask is, do you have my date available? I know that makes no sense, but it is. It's the most important thing. Do you have my date available? Now, listen to this. If the resort planner says, yes, I have your date available, ask them the next two questions. Do you have the time available that I want? My suggestion is always look at the last time of the day, depending upon the time of the year. And then the next question you want to ask is, do you have the wedding location that I like available? Okay, great. So those are 3 variables: date, time, and venue. Now, let's go on to my next thing I think you want to ask them. What locations do you have? Can you send me a brochure? Can you send me pictures? Can you show me the locations that you have available for my ceremony? How about my reception? What about if I want to have a cocktail party? Are these locations available for each of my events? Now, the next set of questions about the locations. What is the seating or what is the capacity of each location for each event? And what is the setup? As an example, some resorts will say we have, call it the rooftop, available for you. But if you want it for your reception and you want a buffet, it only holds X people. But if you want it for a plated dinner, it holds Y. And if you want it for your ceremony and it's only chairs, it holds Z. So you need to make sure that when you're talking to the resorts, if you're going to do this versus letting us do it, you're asking all the right questions. Okay, now let's look at some more questions I think that are worthwhile asking the planner at the resort if you're talking to them. Now, my next group of questions are about wedding packages. So you want to ask them what wedding packages they offer, whether it's for a symbolic wedding, a vow renewal, or a legal wedding. You want to have them send you the brochure. You want something in writing. You want to ask them about how many people are included in each package. Now, here's the thing, the fine print on some of these packages. If it says 30 people are included, the question you want to ask them is, well, what if I have 38 people? Or what if I have 26 people? The other thing you want to look for in the fine print, because a lot of the planners are putting these in their packages now, is there a date I have to choose this package by? Let me give you an example. If you've watched my channel, you see me talk about the Beyond Memorable Wedding Package, which I think is really one of the best. But the fine print on that, 2 things it says. Number 1 is you have to be under deposit 1 year prior to your wedding date. Okay, so think about that. If you're 9 months in advance and you want the Beyond, they're probably not going to sell it to you. The other fine print you can find is that, again, going back to Beyond, it says that you must have a minimum of X number of rooms booked in your room block with your travel planner. So again, you may like a package, you may not be ready to book it far enough in advance, and you might not have enough people. You also want to ask them on the wedding packages, the price, does the price vary by day of week or month of year? Because we've seen both. So you want to get clarity, because if you look at their website, they're always going to show the least expensive price on that package. And of course, you want to ask them what's included in the package. Another item you want to ask them about is vendors. This is a hot topic. So you want to ask them is, do they have their own internal vendors that you have to use? What is their policy on external vendors? Is there a fee? Do they allow them? And what if a guest is a vendor? So you want to make sure you understand that before moving forward with a resort. Another question you want to ask them is premium location fees. Now, what is this all about? Certain resorts have amazing locations, and you'll see it on Instagram. But you need to make sure you ask up front, is there an extra fee for this location? Let me give you some examples. Some resorts will charge extra fees to have not ceremonies, but receptions on the beach. Now, the reason they do this is they don't have a kitchen there. So they have to build your kitchen or set something up temporary so that they can get food to your guests. So they'll charge an extra fee for that. Other resorts may have a rooftop location, 100% private, that they will charge a fee. I've seen fees of $1,000 to $2,000. Sometimes the fees are based upon the number of people you're having. But again, you have to ask, if you fall in love with a given location, do they have a premium fee for that location? Okay, so you pretty much decided on the resort. Great. Again, now you're going to need your rooms. You're going to need us. Do not book with the resort directly, at least for the rooms. And again, I suggest that everything I'm telling you now, if you work with a travel planner that knows destination weddings, we're going to take care of all this stuff for you anyway. One other item, if you are talking, you want to ask about is, what is Plan B? And you're questioning, what is Plan B anyway, Jack? So Plan B is this. You're in the Caribbean, you're in Mexico, wherever you are. What if the weather for an outdoor event is not cooperative for your event? What happens? They're not going to cancel your wedding or your reception. They have to move it someplace. I think it's very, very important that if you're dealing directly with the wedding planner at the resorts, you ask them, what is Plan B? So my answer for Plan B is typically a ballroom. Every now and then a resort will tell me, well, we're going to take over the Italian restaurant, or we'll privatize the lobby, or we'll do something in a meeting or conference room. Whatever they tell you, you want to see a picture of it if it's not a ballroom. My last item I think you really have to understand is, what if you want to do a site inspection? Now, there are two types of site inspections to me. There's a site inspection, which is a trip you go on prior to deciding on that resort for your wedding. And then there's a site inspection, which is, I've decided on that resort, I want to go down a couple months before my wedding, and I want to see what I picked. So let's talk about both of those. Most of the better resorts have site inspection programs. Some actually invite groups of people on one weekend a month. Some, as if it's just maybe the two of you or a couple of you and your friends that want to go down, they'll have a special rate, but you have to coordinate with them. Also in the site inspection, if you've already booked a resort and you're going down maybe for a food tasting, see your decor, meet the photographer, whatever it may be, you have to ask the resorts. At that point, you're already dealing with a wedding planner. You have to ask the wedding planner at that point, do you have a special rate for me? But I think if it's something in your mind that you're thinking of doing, you want to ask all this information up front. Now let's take a step back on all of this. Now remember, if you've seen my videos from a month or two ago, I talk about why I think you need to work with an experienced travel planner. If you have a travel planner that's experienced in destination weddings, forget everything I've just said, because we in the business that focus on destination weddings, these are things we're going to be thinking about when we're talking to our clients, our potential clients, so we understand exactly what it is you're looking for, so we can have a great match of the resort we think is perfect for you, or the resorts that we're going to line up for you, and the one that you're ultimately going to choose. But if you're going to do this on your own, it's very important that you know these questions and other questions to ask the planners at the resort, or many of these resorts are just going to gloss over these subjects. As an example, I, not too long ago, had a bride call me in tears, not one of our clients, but she had already done everything with the resort directly and just needed help with the rooms. And then I said, great, we can do that. But I asked her to submit her documents to me from the resort. Now in her mind, she had her wedding on a given date, at a given time, at a given location. Now when she told me the resort she booked, I knew that possibly wasn't true, because the wedding planners at the resort, some of them do a great job of answering your question, yes, 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 but you won't see any of this in writing. So that's what happened with this bride. She had the date on her wedding contract. There was no time on it, and there was no location. So all of these items I've talked about, there are many other things I think if you're going to deal with the resort directly, you should think about and putting on your list of questions to ask the planner at the resort. But again, I stress to you, find an experienced travel professional like us at Vacationese. There's other smaller companies like us, and work with them. Thanks for watching my videos.